China now seems to be getting ready to sort of invade Taiwan. They've been carrying out air drills. They've violated the Taiwanese air zone 23 times last month. They've sent ships up close. Do you think that that's something that will definitely play out, where they try to attack Taiwan and also maybe counter India on the eastern front?
I don't see. China has almost no natural resources when it comes to oil and gas, because China claims that this is very interesting. China claims a large part of Russian territory, and it claims the parts of Russian territory that have oil and gas. So China per se does not have oil and gas in its. So today, everybody thought that sanctions on Russia will buckle down. But the problem is Russia is selling oil at discounted prices.
Right.
To India, it's almost $40 to $50 a barrel, and which is a windfall for India as far as India is concerned. And in the month of May and June, May and June, the Indian purchase of Russian oil and gas jumped up by 50 times. By 50 times. So India has taken advantage. Now, as far as China is concerned, and this whole Taiwan thing is concerned, I think China is again doing brinksmanship. I don't think China is in the mood for a China hasn't shown an appetite for war for a very long time. 1979, they went all the way to Vietnam and they got a thrashing of their lives. So I don't think war is dirty.
Right.
And Russians don't mind body bags coming home. That is the Russian mindset. Chinese are averse to, because I always say this, we must understand China. A lot of Indians don't understand China. And I've written an article on this, and I have thoughts on this, if I may say so. China is not afraid of the United States of America. It's not afraid of America's aircraft carriers. China is not afraid of India's legendary mountain divisions. It's not. Actually, it's not. China is afraid of the Chinese people. If something terrifies the Communist Party of China, it is the common Chinese. In their dreams, they would not want another Tiananmen Square, or a Hong Kong. This is something that China just cannot. Difference of opinion makes the Chinese Communist Party very, very uncomfortable. And I think they're not going to do anything unless they are 200% sure of victory and the diplomatic fallout. Because America has said, you move into Taiwan, there will be armed response. Joe Biden has been categorical, right? And if America has to defend its position in the world as the world's leader or as the world's policeman, they must be willing in the long run to put Marines in Taiwan, if it comes to that. And I think what is going to happen is that if China does anything in Taiwan, it will simply activate the AUKUS and the Quad. It will simply activate the AUKUS and the Quad. And I don't think Russia is. They said that it's a no-limit partnership. That's how the Chinese term their partnership with the Americans. But they also term their partnership with the Pakistanis as higher than the Himalayas and deeper than the oceans and sweeter than honey. And today Pakistan is burning, and Chinese just say, okay, take $2.5 billion, don't disturb us, and give us twice the amount of money back in 4 years or 5 years. That is what the Chinese are doing. Alternatively, when Pakistan cannot pay, they're taking Pakistan's strategic assets, their airports, their ports, everything they're taken away. So what I'm trying to say is that I do not think it's going to be that simple for China to simply walk into Taiwan. It's not going to happen because, there are people in the US, in the State Department, in the Department of Defense, in the White House, with a certain Cold War mindset. These people have served in Vietnam. Some of the old guys, they've served in Vietnam, all right? And there are memories of Vietnam. And in America, Vietnam, I think in the last 100 years, what has really impacted American popular culture, American movies, or American way of thinking vis-a-vis the armed forces is Vietnam. Vietnam is right there in your face in the United States of America. It's a very huge part of what America is today. And they fail to realize that maybe as we speak today, all right, the world has changed. What America did was it started ignoring Russia for a long time. And they said, okay, hey, we're going to get out of Afghanistan. When America got out of Afghanistan, they did not know what Russia was planning. They had no idea that Russia was planning to move into Ukraine. But slowly and slowly, reports of, the CIA reports started coming out that Russia is moving troops towards the border and it's not an exercise. they will invade. Nobody took it seriously, but finally the Russians did invade. Now, here is point number one. Point number two is that there was a huge push by the world, and at least people who support America, or people who are part of this Quad Alliance or the AUKUS, saying that the Indo-Pacific is the next theater of war, and we need to shift our focus. And what is the Indo-Pacific? What is this entire Quad? What is the entire AUKUS? It is nothing but to contain China. You know, we might say that Quad is four old guys sitting having coffee and talking about, giving free vaccines to the world. That's not true, actually. That's not true. Quad is an extremely powerful weapon. It's only India that is held back every other country from weaponizing the Quad, because India has relations with China also. But if push comes to shove, AUKUS is there, and the kind of naval assets in this war, the Navy is going to be, the deciding factor in this war with China, if a war happens, God forbid. And the Chinese Navy is not a patch on the American Navy. The US Navy is simply, it's gigantic. It's like, I don't know what to say about it. It's got 11 or 12 nuclear powered aircraft carriers.
Right.
They're like floating cities, and they're no match for the American this thing. And even the Indian Navy, by the way, Indian Navy can give the Chinese Navy a very tough time any day, without any support from anybody. The Indian Navy is equally well armed. So we have focused in the past 5-7 years on our Navy. Unfortunately, we had neglected our Navy for a long time, which is something that was wrong. We neglected our Navy, but now I think the Navy has come again into the spotlight, and we are investing a lot in our Navy. And if the wars are going to be fought near the South China Sea or the Malacca Straits, if there is the AUKUS and the Quad, then I think China needs to worry, not Taiwan.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.